All right, everyone, stand by just a moment.
This is Mac OS Ken.
A gravity-defying fourth quarter for Apple. It's Friday, the 30th of October, 2020. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from Mac OS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Right Side Up. Ready with the growth marketing help you need. Learn more at rightsideup.com/MacOSKen. This show is also sponsored by SimpliSafe, the right way to protect your home. We all worry from time to time. With SimpliSafe, you don't have to. Their home security can protect your home around the clock. And setting it up is seriously simple. You get SimpliSafe set up yourself in just a few minutes, without any tools or wiring. No salesperson or technician required. Seriously, I had my sensors and keypad set up in no time. Get that done and SimpliSafe will monitor your home around the clock with security professionals who are there in case of emergency to immediately send the help you need. All of that with no contract, no sales push, and no hidden fees. Find out more. Right now, visit simplisafe.com/MacOSKen and get a free security camera plus a 60-day risk-free trial with any new system order. There's nothing to lose. Go today to simplisafe.com/MacOSKen. SIMPLI simplisafe.com/MacOSKen. And a big thanks to SimpliSafe for sponsoring today's show. So, the pandemic, huh? The uncertainty we've all felt personally, Apple executives have felt as well. In starting off the fourth quarter fiscal year 2020 earnings call, Apple CEO Tim Cook said through it all, Apple stayed relentlessly focused on what we do best, seeing in every obstacle an opportunity to do something new, something creative, something better on behalf of our customers. And that has led to the company crushing it, knocking it out of the park. Doing well, let's say. Apple set a September quarter record, posting revenue for the quarter of $64.7 billion, beating Wall Street expectations by $700 million. Now, I hate when people say, think about that for a moment. But think about that for a moment. Apple set a September quarter record with no new iPhones in the quarter. Cook said the company did that despite impacts of COVID-19, though one could argue that they were able to do that because of COVID-19. The company set an all-time quarterly record for Mac sales and saw their highest September quarter for iPad in 8 years. They also set a new all-time quarterly record for services. Now, I say you could argue that Apple was able to do what it did because of COVID-19. That's because the working from home and schooling at home brought on by the pandemic has served Apple well. Great for Apple's bottom line, though totes depressing for humans. Jefferies analyst Kyle McNeely asked Apple CEO about the durability of the strength in Mac and iPad sales. We're past the back-to-school season now. Will we see a stronger pullback on those devices in the December and March quarters? Said the CEO, we continue to be bullish on what Mac and iPad can do. I think the moves that have taken place to promote learning and remote work are not going to go back to normal. Normal will become something different because I think that people are learning that there are aspects of this that work well. And so I don't believe that we're going to go back to where we were. And I think that means that iPads and Macs are even more important in those environments. While he did acknowledge that a fairly aggressive back-to-school promotion was part of the stellar quarter for the Mac, I think that the other part of it, said Cook, the remote work thing, is not something that's going to snap back to the way it used to be anytime soon. So that's fun. iPhone was a disappointment, of course. Looking at last quarter versus the same quarter a year earlier is a tough compare, since one had a new line of iPhones and the other did not. The parts that do compare, though, do so favorably. Cook said a number of times that demand for iPhone was strong through mid-September. That's when the compare would split. iPhone 11 hit in mid-September 2019, while iPhone 12 missed the September quarter entirely. There is good news on that front, though. Cook indicated a time or two that the initial data points on iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro show the new line of phones off to a great start. Apple took a hit in China thanks to the lack of new phones. Still, the company beat its own internal expectations there, growing non-iPhone revenue strong double digits and seeing growing iPhone demand through mid-September. Looking to Apple's next China, the company set a new September quarter record in India. That was said by the CEO to be thanks to the Apple online store, which opened for India in the September quarter. Geographically, Cook said the company set September quarter records in the Americas, Europe, and the rest of Asia Pacific. During his prepared remarks, Apple CFO Luca Maestri said the company set new September quarter records in most of the countries they track, including, but not limited to, the US, Canada, Brazil, Germany, France, Italy, Spain, Turkey, Russia, India, Korea, Thailand, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Now, one thing that I've always appreciated is Cook's willingness to congratulate and praise Apple employees, something he did again in his prepared remarks on Thursday. This year, said the CEO, we not only launched our most powerful and compelling generation of hardware, software, and services ever, we did it in a way that pushed us to reimagine every part of that innovation process, down to how we share these announcements with the world and how we get new products into our customers' hands. Working from kitchen tables and bedrooms and distanced office settings and reworked labs and manufacturing facilities, the team rebuilt every part of the plane while it was mid-air, and the results speak for themselves. And the plane is still in the air. Looking forward, Cook said, he and his feel great optimism about the road in front of them. We're in the midst of our most prolific product introduction period ever, he said. And what's out already is doing well. There's the initial data on iPhone 12 and 12 Pro that I mentioned earlier. HomePod Mini and the two other iPhones will go up for order 1 week from today. The iPads and Apple Watches announced in September are also doing well. And the CEO teased, this year has a few more exciting things in store. Kind of annoying when he does stuff like that. I mean, it's exciting too. It's really strange when he just pops out with something and keeps rolling to the point that you have to say, wait a minute, what did he say? He did it at September's Time Flies event when he said people could order Apple Watch Series 6 that day. And he did it yesterday when he said people could sign up for Apple One tomorrow, which is now today. Now, getting into the nitty-gritty. CFO Maestri said products revenue was $50.1 billion with very strong underlying performance across each product category. Products grew a combined 30% according to the CFO, provided you take out the iPhone. Everything else grew and grew and grew, despite supply constraints on iPad, Mac, and Apple Watch throughout the quarter. Mac revenue came in at $9 billion, up 29% versus the same quarter a year earlier. I said earlier that that was a new record for the Mac. It beat the previous record quarter by $1.6 billion, and that was with the previously mentioned supply constraints. iPad revenue came in at $6.8 billion, up 46% versus the same quarter a year ago. Again, it was the best September quarter for iPad revenue in 8 years, again, despite supply constraints. The Fondle Slab set an all-time record in Japan and a September quarter record in the Americas, according to CFO Maestri. For both iPad and the Mac, Mastery says half the people who bought them last quarter were new to the platform. He also pointed out the part work from home and school at home played in the growth of both devices. Wearables, home, and accessories set a new September quarter record, with revenue coming in at $7.9 billion. That was up 21% from the year-ago quarter. By itself, Apple's wearable segment is now the size of a Fortune 130 company. Spotlight on Apple Watch. Mastery says 75% of Apple Watch buyers last quarter were new to that product. Apple's services segment is also insane. Those hit an all-time revenue record of $14.5 billion. Shout out to records in the App Store, cloud services, advertising, payment services, and a record in music. AppleCare also saw an all-time record, which makes sense, what with people buying a lot more Macs and more stores open with which to pitch the protection. Let us pay special attention to paid subscriptions. Those grew by more than 35 million from the June quarter to the September quarter, according to Apple's CFO. Year to year, they grew 135 million. Apple now boasts over 585 million paid subscriptions across the services on its platforms, and yes, they think they'll beat their increased target of 600 million paid subscriptions before the end of 2020. While the company declined to offer revenue guidance in #these uncertain times, Apple CFO did offer color on how they think some things will go. iPhone 12 and iPhone 12 Pro are off to a great start. Given the tremendously positive response to those, Mastery says the company expects iPhone revenue to grow this quarter. That's despite two of the iPhone 12s shipping 4 weeks into the quarter, and the other two shipping 7 weeks in. Apple expects all other products in aggregate to grow double digits, and they expect services to keep growing double digits. With that, the call was turned over to questions and answers. We'll get to some of those in a moment, but first a word from Right Side Up. Ready with the growth marketing help you need. When I say help, that's what I mean. You've worked hard to grow your business. It's yours. You've been there every step of the way. Right Side Up doesn't come in and take over. Rather, their premium, fully vetted growth marketing teams look at what you've got, what you've already done, and some things that might work better to market your business and attract more customers. From folks who can sit in on the occasional meeting to people who are practically part of your company, Right Side Up knows that businesses are different, but the skills they bring can work for organizations of all sizes. Whether you want one person or 5 hours a week or 50, their custom teams are designed for exactly what your team needs. DoorDash, Zenefits, Sunbasket. You already know Right Side Up's work. From early-stage ventures to fast-growing tech companies to Fortune 500 brands, they are ready with the growth marketing help you need. And right now, Right Side Up is offering macOS 10 listeners a free week of service after your first quarter of engagement when you go to rightsideup.com/macOS10. That's rightsideup.com/macOS10 to speak to one of their marketing strategists and finally get the customer acquisition and marketing help you need. Go to rightsideup.com/macOS10. And a big thanks to Right Side Up for sponsoring today's show. Blowout numbers laid out, it was time to hear what the analysts wanted to know. Shannon Cross of Cross Research wanted to hear about China. Apple CEO said China looked great last quarter, iPhone not included. Then again, until mid-September, iPhone looked great as well, with growing customer demand versus the same quarter last year until the middle of the month. Non-iPhone business was up strong double digits, and Oh yeah, those new phones lacking last quarter are available now. Apple expects iPhone to return to growth in China now that the 5G phones have made the scene. Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty had a couple of interesting questions. First, average sales price for iPhone 12 stayed pretty much the same compared to iPhone 11. Could Lucas say why? Well, he could, but he didn't want to give away any secrets. What he would say is that the commodity environment is good. For the first time in a while, Apple is not dealing with foreign exchange headwinds, and they are bullish with regard to sales performance expectations. Huberty then turned her attention to services. Sort of. The money Google pays for pole position in Apple Search, that gets filed under services. With the US government focusing on that deal in its suit against Google, what might Apple do to make up the billions of dollars annually that it could lose? Apple's CEO pointed to the large and growing number of services Apple offers, from stuff that's yet to launch all the way back to the App Store and iCloud. Lots of potential for more revenue there, and besides, who knows how the DOJ suit will go? Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani asked about potential iPhone growth despite iPhone at its largest installed base to date, plus elongating replacement cycles. Apple CEO said the iPhone 12 line is Apple's strongest lineup so far, that people are excited for 5G, that Apple is reaching out to switchers, and carriers are offering some serious subsidies here in the States. Cook says he is very bullish on this cycle. Cowen and Company analyst Krish Sankar wondered how payment services were going for the company. Cook said Apple is very enthusiastic about that segment. In these Purell-scented times, contactless payments have really taken off, which works well for Apple Pay or vice versa. The US lags in that area, but the pandemic may put the country on track, a track down which Apple Pay could speed. And finally, durability of Mac and iPad sales wasn't the only topic Jefferies analyst Kyle McNeely wanted to hit. iPhones are kind of hard to get right now. Does Apple know when supply and demand will meet? iPhones. Cook pointed out that supply is constrained on the Mac, iPad, and some Apple Watches in addition to iPhone. While the company is working really, really hard to ease those constraints, he doesn't know now when that'll happen. There were more questions raised and more answers offered. If you want to hear it all for yourself, you can. Thursday's call is available now to stream on Apple's investor site. It is also available as a podcast. Grab them while you can, though. They will only be available for a couple of weeks. And if you want to go over the call written word by written word, iMore has once again posted a transcript of the happenings. Not sure how they do it, but I am grateful that they do. And finally today, though Apple barely addressed it on the call, it would be silly of me to not address Apple One. That's the set of services subscription bundles that Apple is, surprise, launching today. iDownload blog reminds folks what's available for how much. According to the site, individual accounts include Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and 50 gigabytes of iCloud storage for $14.95 per month. The family plan includes Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, and 200 gigabytes of iCloud storage for $19.95 per month. That can be shared among up to 6 family members. And finally, Premiere, where available, includes Apple Music, Apple TV Plus, Apple Arcade, Apple News Plus, Apple Fitness Plus, and 2 terabytes of iCloud storage for $29.95 per month. That can also be shared among up to 6 family members. Wondering how to convert the services you already have to Apple One? Yeah, so am I. I'd imagine I'll spend part of today figuring that out. One other thing to let you know, Apple Fitness Plus is not ready yet. iDownload blog says that will launch this quarter, but not today. Coming up in a few minutes, the best meal he ever had, his real-life hero, his first car. Medical research principal analyst Ross Rubin ends the week with us spinning the wheel of stuff. Find the show in a few minutes wherever you get podcasts. Don't forget I'm going live on YouTube today, Monday through Friday at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Stop by and say hi at youtube.com/KenRay or grab the audio podcast, macOS Ken Live, wherever you go for such things. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by SimpliSafe. Get a free HD camera when you order an all-new system at simplysafe.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Right Side Up, ready with the growth marketing help you need. Learn more at rightsideup.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.